Alright, we're going to clean our parrot cages today. This is Sam, he's an African Gray. We're going to clean his cage, and we're going to clean Rudy's cage. He's a Senegal Parrot. He's next to Sam. I use this stuff, it's great. Poop Off. It uses an enzyme product inside here, so it dissolves the poop. Anything hard actually works well on food as well as poop. It's great. I'll put a link in the Amazon for Amazon. Amazon sells this, and I actually get a larger gallon-sized jug that I refill this spray bottle with. So I'll put a link in the description, but it's great stuff. I spray it on the towel, and I just simply wipe down. Obviously that's loose, and I have to tighten that up. I let them out pretty frequently, and they go on top of the cage, and they chew on these things. So you can see this is chewed. I'm gonna have to replace this wooden perch here soon. Okay, so really they have a lot of dust and dander from their skin. Not really all of the birds, but Sam especially. And so his cage, because it's brown, of course it gets a little dusty after about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. So I just kind of wipe it down. He's kind of okay with it. He's not really crazy. They're not really crazy about you cleaning their cages, of course. But as you see, I will speed this up so you don't have to do this with me. What I do is I like to clean the top part first, and then I try to do around the edges, because he doesn't like this towel, because unfortunately when we need to have him get examined by the doctor, he doesn't really perch up. He won't climb up. He's a very nervous bird. I used to be able to get him to perch on me, but he's very nervous, and the only time he lets me do it is if he gets scared, he accidentally flies and lands somewhere. He's afraid. He will actually let me. He will actually step up on me because he wants me to pick him up and put him back on his cage or in his cage, because he's afraid at that point. But unfortunately we have to use a towel to get him to do any kind of medical exam on him or anything. So this isn't a towel we use, of course. We use like a dish towel or a larger hand towel. But he sees this as a towel and very much afraid of it, does not like it. Sometimes I'll bite at it if I get it near him. But so I try to keep it away from him. So I just try to clean the top area, because I know once I let him out, he's going to be on top, and he's not going to want this blue towel near him. So I'm going to try to do my best to keep it away from him, and you'll see what I mean. Even in his cage, he doesn't like it because he thinks oh, it's okay, buddy. He sees a towel and he thinks he's going to be grabbed, and of course he does not like that at all, and I can't blame him. And the reason we use the towel, it sounds kind of cruel, the reason we use the towel is so we don't get bit, because he will bite, and he's just afraid. It's not his fault. He's just trying to protect himself. And so to keep him safe and protected, now I'm going to open this door. You can come out, buddy. You want to come out? Want to come out? Pets? He will let me pet him, touch him to a point. Okay, buddy, you can come out. I'm just going to finish cleaning this, all right? You can come out if you want. He does talk. He says a bunch of things. He's kind of talking right now. He doesn't usually talk when you're in front of him. He kind of likes to talk when you walk away or when you're not right in front of him. Right, buddy? It's okay, buddy. In the morning, he says good morning. That's the only time he says it during the day, is in the morning. So when I come down, even before I come down, I hear him saying good morning, because he wants to eat. And he knows that when I come down in the morning, I say good morning. So he started saying that in the morning, and he only says it in the morning, which is interesting. So, and then he gets fed, and he says other things throughout the day, but he only says good morning in the morning, right, Sam? There are a few things he says. Usually the parrots, especially the ones that talk with the voices, they usually imprint on one person. But he has imprinted on a bunch of different people in our household here. He says a lot of different things from different, right, buddy? I know you don't like this, but I have to clean it, right? It's really does need to be cleaned. Now, with the camera there, that's something new. He's not used to this ring light and camera, so he may not want to come out just now. They're very sensitive about different things. They're very nervous. Even if you try to give him a new food that he's never seen, they'll be nervous sometimes. Like Rudy next to him, he's afraid of peppers. That's right, he's afraid of peppers. You cut up a pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, he'll look at it like it's going to hurt him. Yep, right, Sam? I know, buddy, you can come out. The camera's not going to hurt you. The ring light's not going to hurt you. I know it's something new, but so I just wiped down the cage. This is a king cage, very nice cage, very sturdy, very well built, and you can get them in stainless steel. This is not stainless steel because they're like double the money, but they're awesome cages. King makes some great products, and so usually I just wipe down and I wipe in between the bars because it does get dusty, and I just want it to be nice and clean. So, right, buddy? You can come out. You want to come out? I'm going to rinse this towel. Every so often I go and rinse the towel and come back. So next I do take out this bottom grate, and this I usually just bring to the sink and I clean it with a scrubber sponge, and one that doesn't, it's too corrosive, a non-scratch scrubber, because I don't want to scratch the coating off of this cage. So I'm going to take this to the sink and take care of it. Okay, we're back, Sam. All nice and clean, ready to go when we're ready for it. We still need to do a little more work. Usually you're outside by now. Pets, come on. And if you watch them closely, especially parrots, birds, Sam, the African Gray, when I'm doing something he doesn't like, if I go to get him to step up, which he rarely does, or tickle the back of his feathers, the back of his neck, he will fluff up his feathers, or his eyes, his pupils dilate and constrict. They do give you signs that they want you to stop whatever you're doing. So if I'm talking to him, he's fine, but if I go to move close to him and I see his feathers fluff up or his pupils start to dilate and constrict, he's telling me, back off, you're close enough. And people that usually get bit by birds, they don't see these signs, which are pretty obvious to me anyway. And they just continue, and they think the bird wants to get pet, or the bird wants to step up, or whatever it might be, and they get bit. And I'm not saying I've never been bitten before. I have been, but if you just take your time and you watch them, you can see they will give you a sign to back off. So he's usually out by now, right, buddy? I know this thing is freaking you out, right? It's okay. It's really okay. It's all right. And one thing, since we're on cleaning, I use this poop off stuff for the cage. When I clean part of the cage in the sink, I'm just using like Dawn dishwashing soap. It's very mild. So don't use anything caustic, any kind of bleach or anything. There's no need to. And keep in mind that they can bite or lick, or they can ingest anything that you have on these cages to clean. So you don't want to do that. Around the cage, you never want to spray anything around a bird cage. Anything like air cleaner, air freshener, any kind of caustic cleaner, like Pine Sol for the floor. I just use all natural cleaning stuff around the cage and on the floor. Now, when I'm done at the sink where I'm washing this stuff, I do use Lysol wipes, Clorox wipes for the sink area after I'm finished. But I never use any of that around the birds. They're very sensitive to anything. If you have a bird in a small room and you go in there and you spray air freshener, it can kill them. They're very sensitive to that kind of stuff. So no sprays around the birds of any kind, and no caustic cleaning materials anywhere near the birds or the cages. So, okay, buddy. Are you gonna come out? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you gonna come out, buddy? if you come out, then I can clean the inside of your cage. Every now and then he won't come out when I'm cleaning his cage. And so I can't really clean inside, because if I put my hand in there to wipe things down, he's probably gonna bite me. So I'm gonna pull this bottom tray out, and I'm going to empty this. Hey Reba, I'm gonna empty this. Okay, so this is washed in the sink as well as the bottom tray. What I like to do is I get puppy pads. Let me go grab some of them. So I use puppy pads. You can buy them off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of the video. Some people use paper. Some people use newspaper. I don't get a newspaper, so I don't have any. I used to a long time ago. Some people use any type of paper or products to put in the bottom of the cage. Just makes it easier to clean. I use these puppy pads, so they seem to fit perfectly. After I clean the tray, I put them in. I'm gonna do a little bit, buddy. I really wish you would come out. Can I clean? It's okay. It's okay. All right, buddy. So I would ideally like to wipe down the whole interior of his cage, because that's what I normally do. But he is freaking out about this ring light and the camera. Right, buddy? Like I said, they're very sensitive to things that are out of the ordinary. They don't like change. They don't like things that are threatening looking. And that ring light, I guess, can't blame them. Right, buddy? Okay. We have 4 cages. We have Sam Rudy next to him. He's a Senegal Parrot. I have a Cockatiel named Lomi in another cage. And I also have a Parrotlet named Brighty in a 4th cage. So 4 bird cages. And they get cleaned weekly. Right, buddy? You don't like it, I know. Ideally, I would change the tray daily or every other day, but in reality, it doesn't always happen. Here's the tray that has the puppy pad, obviously the softer material side up. So I just slide that in, and then I put the bottom grate in. I really wish he came out. Sorry, buddy. And I put the bottom grate in. Okay, and now I can slide it back in place. Normally, I would slide it out and I would clean the floor, which I am going to do. I'm just not going to do now because I have another cage to clean here. So I'm going to give him his water and food back. I will be right back. So now I have given him fresh water because sometimes he likes to take a bath with his water. And usually he's on top of his cage and I have to give him some dry pellets or food in order to get him to go back in his cage or house or enclosure, whatever you like to call it. And I'll put a link to the things that I feed him, but he gets fresh food. The parrots get fresh food in the morning. I do fresh bowls, and then in the afternoon they get these ZuPreem, and I'll give them 1 almond and like a seed bowl, right, buddy, as a treat. So this is what they get in the afternoon. I will leave this open for him in case he does want to come out. I don't know if he will. Let's move the focus over to Rudy here in this other king cage. I will put descriptions to these if you're interested. So Rudy is a Senegal Parrot. Hey, buddy. Now I did take the seed guards. That's what these metal brackets are around the bottom. They're seed guards. And his are off right now. I'm going to put them back on because the other night when I had Sam out, he was on top of his cage. He got spooked by something, scared, and he flew right over to this cage. And when he does fly, they're not great flyers, African Grays. They're kind of like awkward. And they can fly, but at least with Sam, he doesn't seem to want to fly. He doesn't do his landings very well. So he landed up here, and when he lands somewhere, he won't fly back voluntarily. He'll do it only if he gets scared, if something scares him. And it usually doesn't end well. It usually ends with him banging into something. So I knew that he was on top of Rudy's cage. I couldn't get him off because he won't step up. He felt comfortable. When he flies to the floor or a table or somewhere that is scary to him, he lets me pick him up. He'll step up on me because he wants to get out of that environment. He wants to go back to his house. But in this case, he flew right over to his neighbor's, top of his neighbor's cage, and he's on his cage all the time. So he wasn't upset or scared or anxious about it, so he just wanted to hang out there. He wanted to torment Rudy. So he wouldn't step up is my point. So I had to take these seed guards off to push the cages closer, and it took hours, but eventually he did, with a little coaching. I put some treats over here. Eventually he did climb onto his cage and climbed down and got back into his cage. But yeah, so I have to put Rudy's back on, which I will do, right, Rudy? All right, so same concept here. We wipe down everything. It gets a little dusty, inside and out preferably. Rudy's cage is white, so it's a little harder to see, but same concept. They're the exact same cage, only different colors. So yeah, parrots are very rewarding, but they are a lot of work, meaning that you have to feed them fresh food in the morning. They get vegetables, fruit, some grains, put in some Cheerios in there, and some tomatoes and carrots and apples. So I make bowls up for about 4 days, and I have enough bowls for 4 days, and I put them in Ziplocs and I put them in the fridge, and then for the next 4 days I just have to take the bowls out and add. I do add certain things each morning. Like I don't keep, for example, the Cheerios and pine nuts. I don't keep them in there because they tend to get like soggy and stale. So I add them the morning up, but I keep the other stuff in there for the whole week. So sometimes Rudy's cage is a lot dirtier, usually for some reason. So I have to like spray down areas of his cage and let it soak before it will actually clean. Sometimes I actually need to use a sponge, scrubbing sponge, to get the stuff off of his cage because he's just messier. So I'm gonna let him out. Hopefully he'll come out, right buddy? You wanna come out? All right, you can come out. Same thing, so I'm spraying this down. Wiping everything down. I'm gonna go into the kitchen. I'm gonna rinse this out, and then hopefully he'll come out. Buddy, are you afraid of this thing too, buddy? And Rudy's not crazy about the towel either, but he's not so scared of it. He's just kind of, he gets angry when I use the towel near him. It's not so much, I think, fear with him. It's more anger, like, get that thing away from me. So I'm guessing most birds don't like the towel for the simple fact that most birds have been toweled at some point. And again, I know there are birds that will voluntarily step up and they'll let you put them in a carrier to take them to the vet. Fortunately for me, my vet or their vet comes here because she's my ex and the mother of my kids. So she comes here and sees them. If they need anything, she takes care of them and helps me get them out. Like I should say, I help her get them out if need be. Okay, we're back with resuming cleaning the cage, and Rudy, as you can see, stepped out and he's on top of his cage. And typically both the birds will do this. They'll be up there for a while. So I'm just kind of scrubbing this. It's pretty bad. For some reason, his cage gets a lot dirtier in the same amount of time than Sam's. Now this poop off stuff is great. You can spray it on the floor, you can spray it on the walls, because what happens is a lot of food and stuff when they're eating does get kind of flung against the wall, and obviously if it's wet it will stick. Some of it will stick, and So keep that in mind, but this stuff is great. You spray it on there, you wait a few minutes, and then it does pretty much come off fairly easily, and yep. So if you clean these on a regular basis, they're usually not bad to maintain. But like I said, it depends on the bird. Sometimes it's a lot harder to clean. Okay, buddy, pretty soon. And they kind of know when they're done getting the cage clean that I'm gonna put stuff in their bowl, and usually they go back in fairly quickly to eat it. Not always, but usually. So I'm just wiping this down, all of this, because this pig has a white cage. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit more to clean. There's a little bit more stuff showing. All right.